Professor Hornbeak here, teaching on the topic Section 508, Accessibility. So Section 508 is an amendment to the United States Workforce Rehabilitation Act of 1973. It is a federal law mandating that all electronic and information technology developed, procured, maintained, or used by the federal government be accessible to people with disabilities. Did you know that over 285 million people in the world are visually impaired? Between 1 and 9% of the population have movement-related disorders. Hearing loss affects about 10% of the global population. 50% of the U.S. population also has learning disabilities. Since June 2001, Section 508 has required that all content created using federal money be 508 compliant. Industry best practices encourage even those not receiving federal funds or affiliated with a federal agency to ensure their online training is in fact 508 compliant. So Section 508 includes many digital items like spreadsheets and even presentations. Animation and video can be used in your e-learning course if you provide the text equivalent or closed captioning, for example. Anything not initially visible when the page loads will not be read by a screen reader. Consider font sizing. Be mindful for color contrast for those who are colorblind. Provide captioning and transcripts of audio as well as descriptions of any video. Make sure that explanations of links make sense. Ensure your course is structured consistently. And there are many things that this site will talk about with websites in particular. So this website here is a really valuable website if you ever have a project that includes some sort of federal money, whether it's a nonprofit that receives a grant or you are working directly with the federal government or state government, then you'll want to visit the site to make sure that you've got all your ducks in a row as far as making it accessible for anyone that has visual, hearing, learning, or movement disabilities. So here's a page, for example, that will give you quite a bit of information, including every section of Section 508, as well as some lists of things to work on when you are creating. You'll see at the top it says create and then test, so you can look at this page. This is a create page. You can look at this page before you start on your project, or if you have an existing website you're working on, you can go to the test option and test your site out in various ways to make sure that it is accessible. So cdc.gov is an example of a website that follows all accessibility standards. Obviously CDC is a government website, so they are required to meet all of these accessibility needs. It includes a full set of ARIA landmark roles, including in various places banner, main navigation, search, and content info. There's good heading structure. These sites include hidden same-page links at the top of the page for skipping to particular content. So if you go to the menu, scroll over, it'll give you some subcategories. And it has large images, has a search bar, and you'll see at the top right it has a language option. Here's another website I just wanted to use as an example. So this website is the company that my sister works for in Washington, D.C. So obviously they need to, because it's public health, they need to be Section 508 compliant. And she actually worked on some of this, implementing some of this, like the language. Google has a nice embed where you can have it translate a website in any language. So they embedded that, as well as a search bar using Google. So all of these, some of these features they don't necessarily need a programmer or someone that knows JavaScript and HTML to do this. You can actually embed some of this yourself. And you'll notice that this website is all on page, so it fulfills the movement. There isn't much scrolling. It's just simply click